A number of years ago, our church took some young people to a professional basketball game, and we were granted access to the sideline while the teams were warming up. And the team that we were watching warm up was the Golden State Warriors, and the Golden State Warriors still has one of the best players on the planet, Steph Curry. And his pregame routine is astounding. He does a lot of dribbling and a lot of shooting, and it's very methodical. He knows what he's doing. He just goes step by step by step by step by step. We're watching him do all of his wonderful things when all of a sudden he takes a break from what he's doing and rushes over to us. Standing to my right is one of my daughters, and my daughter happened to have her hand up in the air like this, and Steph Curry just came up and gave her a 5. And then he went back to warming up. I looked at my daughter and she looked at me just kind of like, well, that's really cool. Steph Curry has a lot on his mind. He has a lot of different things that he has to think about and do and accomplish. And he took the time to come over and show my daughter that he was mindful of her, that he saw her there. We still remember that many years later, and still makes us feel pretty good. Steph Curry didn't know my daughter, but God knows you. God knows you. In Psalm 8, we're reminded he made the universe, the stars, the moon, everything in it, so many big things that he's paying attention to. But as we get into a section where it's like a double fulfillment, it's talking about Jesus and it's also talking about you. There's a line in there that says, of all the big things that God could choose to pay attention to, well, he pays attention to you. He says, what is mankind that you're mindful of them? God is mindful of you. He thinks of you. He knows you. That was the prayer of the man who was dying on the cross next to Jesus, right? He looked over at Jesus and he asked if God would just remember him. He didn't ask to be in heaven. He didn't ask God to save him from the cross, at least not at that moment. He just wanted to be somewhere in God's memory bank when it was all done. He just wanted to be remembered, and we all do. It means a lot when people think of us, when they call to say happy birthday, when they stop to ask how we're doing, when they show that our existence matters to them. And Jesus reminded that thief that day that it always matters to our God. The thief turned to Jesus and said, "Remember me when you go into your kingdom." And Jesus did him one better. He said, "I tell you the truth, today you're going to be with me in a paradise that thief did not earn." He more than remembered him. He saved him. He graced him. He wanted to be mindful of him forever. And for you, your God is. Your God is. Maybe you feel alone today. Maybe you're in a stretch where it seems like God isn't even paying attention. So picture your Jesus on the cross. Picture yourself right there next to him. Picture yourself asking him just to remember you. And he'll remind you. He doesn't just remember you. He loves you. He saves you. He graces you. You. What are we that God is mindful of us? Well, we are God's. Today, you are God's. And he's mindful of you. Rest well tonight, my friends.